Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Soul Centered CEO Show. I am so excited to have you here with us today, and especially excited for my very special guest, Miss Leanne Velky. Welcome, Leanne.
Hi, thank you. Thank you.
So lovely to have you. We have been in each other's world for like years now, 4 or 5 years,
Something like that, yeah.
This is our first formal chat. Not like it's really formal, but that's okay. You know, this year has not been easy for a lot of people, and you're specifically in the event industry and have been for years now. And so this year's been quite a transition for you. And I think, you know, as for those of us that have gone through transitions, just like me, right? I lead international retreats and events. Not really happening this year, you know? So it's just been a real opportunity to adjust and shift and pivot. And I know that you had obviously years in that industry. And I think one of the things that has been so inspiring to watch you this year is how you have kind of just pivoted and given yourself permission to shift and change and explore and just kind of be curious to some new ways of doing business, of creating revenue. And it's just been really beautiful to watch you do that. So I'd love to hear kind of from you how that experience has been, and kind of what you've been able to pivot into and how you're feeling now. Because what I have seen is just this, you've been lit up from the inside out around creating new ways of doing business and new revenue streams. And I'd love to talk a little bit more about that too. So jump in and share with us your story, because let me say, you're not the only one. There's so many people that have experienced that. So I'd love for you to just give us your experience of how you've been able to shift and adjust and adapt during these crazy times.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been crazy. It's been a crazy year, but like you said, I feel like there's been so much opportunity for everybody this year. I actually said that right out the gate when everything kind of shut down in March, that as people were, starting to be laid off and starting to lose their jobs, that, I was laid off back in 2015, right before I had my second baby. And it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. And I was actually, as much as I was kind of sad for people, obviously, because it's scary to lose a job, I was actually really excited for people. As weird as that sounds, because I think sometimes you kind of need to be pushed off the edge and need to be pushed out. Like, how often do you hear friends who are so miserable in their corporate job, but they just don't go out and find something new? So you're right. I think it has, so many people have experienced this year. And I really feel like it has been a year of opportunity and a year of being able to really just kind of get back to yourself and figure out what you love and what makes you happy and what's fun for you. So my own personal story is that obviously I am in the events industry, as you mentioned, corporate events, and obviously overnight in March, my entire business that I have worked for 4 years to build, and this was gonna be my best year ever. I had a crazy, crazy year lined up, and I was super excited about it, super excited to, pay off some bills and do some upgrades and that kind of stuff. All just disappeared overnight. So it was interesting, but at the same time, during that time, we had a lot of opportunity to spend time as a family together. And, we just had a lot more time together, which I think you're not given a lot of that anymore.
Right.
So finally, I got a little bit restless in May. I started to feel like, all right, I need to be doing something, and enough of this just kind of sitting around on my bum. So I had been baking my children's cakes for years, and many people had told me that I could sell them, and I never believed them. But in May, I decided to just go for it. And went out and, filed a business license in the town and got, the inspector came and I started selling cakes out of my house in May. Started my very first like public thing was Mother's Day cupcakes. So that was really fun and really special, and has just been something new and fun. And it's getting my creative brain moving and getting me moving and getting me, standing up and moving around the kitchen for 12 hours a day. And I think the coolest thing about that is that my business before was event registration and software consulting. So I do a lot of computer work, and my clients are all over the country and all over the world, really. And with the cake business, it gave me an opportunity to focus more on my immediate surroundings. And it's been really fun to reconnect with old friends who are still, within a 30-minute drive of me, who are ordering cakes for me and asking me to be part of their child's birthday. And it's really cool to be a part of people's, sort of intimate celebrations in this way. And so much is about the cake. And so it's actually been an honor. I found it to be an extreme honor to be still part of the event industry, actually, just in a different way. So that has been, I think, also another blessing on top of opportunity. I think reconnecting with people who I haven't seen since college or after college, or, for a long time. It's just it's fun to see people's faces, even if they're behind masks, again, when I'm dropping off cakes. And it's been fun to just kind of adapt to a different piece of the industry.
Yeah. And I think it's so cool that you, like you said, you're still part of the industry, but it's a whole different sliver and a whole different way of being part of it. And you're like the magic at the end of the party. Like you're the special piece of that. And what a beautiful connection, I think, to have people invite you into, because those are very special moments that you're being a part of,
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful how you were able to just almost like a reset, like a simplifying, a bringing it back home kind of vibe and feeling. And I love that you're able to reconnect with your immediate community, because I agree. Especially for a lot of us that have these virtual kind of businesses or ways that we do business that are not necessarily in real life all the time, to be able to be around people that and love and serve and give from that place, that feels really, really lovely. So how wonderful. Now, So that was, and you're still doing cakes, so that's still part of your business. And then you've transitioned now into also another level of magic, which I love about you. And that is including selling wine and becoming what do they call it? A cause entrepreneur, I think.
Yep, cause entrepreneur. Yep.
And it's so interesting because I go way back with that company as well. And when I first saw them, I was very attracted to the gold sparkly bottle. Shocking, I know, but ta-da, right there. But what I think I love so much about them is that they have built in such a give back into their business model, which for those of you that are listening or maybe new to this soul-centered CEO movement that we're creating, which I really believe that's what it is, it is creating more revenue and creating more of a opportunity to expand, not only financially, but in our impact and in our giving. And our whole philosophy is that we want more and more entrepreneurs and business leaders to make more so they can serve more, so together we can give more. And I think it's really beautiful that you've partnered now with One Hope, because they have that's like part of it. Every bottle there's a giving, and it's just such a beautiful business model that, of course, which is why I thought it'd be perfect to have you come in and be on this Soul Centered CEO show, because I do feel like that's what you are. You are a heart and soul centered, driven, loving entrepreneur that has a heart for service. And it's so lovely and perfect that now you're excited and sharing the vision and mission and the beautiful products from One Hope as part of your business model. So that's just, I think it's just so neat that that's the next evolution and the next iteration of where you're headed. Now you have the cake and the wine. It's perfect.
Yeah, beautiful and delicious, by the way.
Yeah.
The wine is also very good on top of being beautiful. But yeah, I mean, I have been very pleasantly surprised since I kind of jumped off the edge of joining into One Hope. I didn't really have a lot of expectations when I joined. I just kind of was like, meh, I'll just try this out. And the worst thing that happens is that I get like a discounted case of wine and then I do nothing with it, you know, with the business after. But I have found, you know, there's a whole community, obviously, of other cause entrepreneurs, which is really great to connect and to build more of my relationships and my support system out there. But there is so much of a give back in this company that you also just feel so good about selling wine. Like it doesn't even feel like a job, first of all. It's just fun. But as you mentioned, every bottle gives back. And then on top of that, every event and every fundraiser that you host, which can be like an in-person wine tasting or a virtual one, 10% of all of those sales are also going back to a charity that you choose, actually. So they've built so much give back in. Earlier this year, they announced they've already given back, the company's given back $5.5 million to charity. But I think that number has probably just completely exploded because since COVID hit, there's been so many people who have joined One Hope as cause entrepreneurs, and there's been so much charity and giving back that even my team, my string that I'm on, I think in August, we as a whole team gave back like $36,000 from our events, which is just crazy.
Well, and you know, I think too, I mean, I'm assuming that a lot more people are actually drinking more wine probably too, right? Because they're not going out as much. People are just at home and like gathering in these small, more intimate containers versus being out and about. So it's really just a perfect timing. The timing feels perfect too. And I think one of the things I want to point out is that, well, I think what 2020 has done for a lot of people is get a lot more clarity on how they spend their time, their resources, their energy, their money, like, and also getting more honest about what they want their life to look like, you know? And I think what's beautiful now is that maybe before, yes, the revenues were there, but you were probably traveling a lot. You might have been on the road more than you wanted to be. And now, like you mentioned, you're able to be at home more with your family and pursue these like passions and these projects and these business models that are different than maybe you were used to, but they still feel very soul satisfying, right? Like I think that's a cool point that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people maybe that are listening that have gone through some kind of transition, right? And how lovely that these alternative kind of, you know, it's not a brick and mortar store. It's not this or that. It's this really unique hybrid that you're able to create and frankly utilize all of your passions and your talents for bringing people together, which you've always loved, right? You love events, you love the connection and the opportunity to then provide a way to make a living through that. I just think it's a cool way of weaving everything together, and how beautiful that even when you went through a very difficult and challenging time, you were like, okay, readjust, readapt. And I know you're still doing some consulting within the events industry, which is wonderful. It just feels like you just have a nice hybrid, darling. And I'm so excited for you. It feels really good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really funny. So obviously I'm assuming nobody knows who I am yet. But the other big piece of my life is I'm very involved with Rotary, and I grew up in Rotary. And for anyone who doesn't know, because nobody knows, a lot of people don't know what Rotary is, but we're an international service organization. So I grew up as a daughter of a Rotarian, going out and doing service projects and picking up trash on the side of the road, which oddly enough is one of my most favorite childhood memories. And then once I started my business, I was like, yes, I can finally join Rotary. And so I've been very involved. I'm actually the president of my club this year.
Of course you are.
My Rotary bell right here that I get to ding at the beginning of the meeting. And so now with selling wine, which I love wine anyway, I'm a wine drinker anyway, with a give back, with this service, component and focus to it. And the other thing that's very cool that I didn't think about or anticipate when I started out in this business is that it also gives me an opportunity to coach and to mentor other people who are kind of looking for just something fun or like a little supplemental income. And, I feel like for me, as far as this being such a perfect opportunity, is that since I started my business, you and I have probably had a lot of conversations on how I can do like a coaching business, or I've tried a few different times over different years to start my own coaching business. And I never found like quite the right market or quite like exactly where I fit in there. Yeah. But this like gives me an opportunity to do that too, where I just get to like love on people and encourage them and check in with them daily and say, how you doing? What can I help you with? And,
perfect.
It's just literally a perfect marriage of like everything I could ever ask for in my life.
Yeah. And I think the important takeaway, I think for that is that, in my opinion, there is a place and that special spot where like your soul and the strategy and the success and like all of the things can come together, all of your passions, everything that you are meant to be doing, which for you obviously includes the gift of encouragement and coaching and being the cheerleader. That's such a natural outflow of your personality and who you are, and you're so good at that. And you've married it with a business model that works for you, right? So like, and I think for those of you that are listening, I just want that for all of us, right? I want all of us to have that special space where everything comes together, where you're lit up, you're excited, you're able to use your gifts, and you're able to create more than enough abundance, love, revenue, whatever it is. And with that expansion, you're able to give more. Like at the end of the day, that's really what it is all about. And that's really the whole purpose of this Soul-Centered CEO movement that we're speaking about, is that the more people that are lit up from the inside out doing exactly what they're meant to do, and they're making more so they can serve more and ultimately give more, that to me is the ultimate level of what we're here to do and who we're here to be. So I'm so excited for this new chapter for you, Leanne. I'm just so proud of you for being brave enough to make those changes and to go for it and bake the Mother's Day cupcakes. Like, who knows, right? And I would just want to encourage anyone that's listening that if you are in the middle of a transition, or if you feel like there's something more and you really want to expand in that next level of your life and your impact and your leadership, I would say now's the time. Now's the time. And specifically, we are going to be hosting a beautiful event just for that very purpose coming up on November 11, 12, and 13th. 3 days, free masterclasses, 90 minutes each day, to really allow you to step into your soul-centered CEO way of living and loving and serving. And we'd love to invite all of you that are here listening to be with us, because it will be transformational and help you see what's possible for your $1 million business model, for your $1 million giving, because again, that's really what we're here to do, is make more so we can give more. So thank you so much, Leanne, for being here today. It's always an honor to be with you in any form. If we can't be together in real life, obviously in virtual is better than nothing. And I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so fun. Always fun to connect with you, Miss Haley. I love you, and I love spending time with you always.
I love you too, darling. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone tuning in. And we're excited to have you join us for the next episode of the Soul Centered CEO Show. Much love.